Bean Apple fans, welcome back. We are back to 2 a week now, so we're going to have a whole bunch of fun as we get ready for football season. So Monday we did the NFC West. Now we are switching over to the AFC West. Another looks like you got the Chiefs there anchoring it. We're going to give our preview and prediction for what you guys need to know, what stood out throughout the offseason, and how we see this division shaping up. Winners, losers, and whoever ends up in the middle. So we'll have a little bit of fun, have some debates. You guys please chime in, get your thoughts in as we go. Let us know, obviously, who you think first through fourth is going to be in this division. Drop that into the comments below. And please make sure that you subscribe and set that bell to all so people stop saying, "When are you guys on? We don't see you anymore." Hit that bell. It'll magically pop up on your phone with a little alert that says the Bean Apple is live. Jump right in, chat with us, and have some fun like we always do. Mm-hmm. So we bring the overlay up for the chat. I missed Alex, but he's on the ball with the Chargers. Chargers
End of
win.
show.
End of show.
That's it. Okay, we're done.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend. And Alex, thank you. Good to see you.
Yes.
Let's see. So with that, I don't know if you guys want to start this time. You want me to start again, or what we want to do? You want me?
Yeah,
to
I like that. Unless John thinks otherwise.
No. Let's do the same thing. I kind of like this. So who's going to be closest to each other this time? So last time, me and Jim and I were spot on. A couple wins and losses here and there. I mean,
Really
we even had the same predictions on why we thought San Francisco was going to be the front runner out of the NFC West. So I'll be curious to see how today goes. And I think, Jim, if it's you and I again, maybe we can branch out. We'll call ESPN. Maybe let Joe be the producer or something. Maybe, I don't know, but we'll figure.
I have a feeling it is going to be you and I, as opposed to me and Joe or you and Joe. I don't know why. It's just gut
It's
feeling.
just never Joe and I.
I just think differently than the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Exactly.
West Coast mindset.
Yeah, that's the best coast.
The best.
Welcome to the Bean Apple Podcast.
Belichick. I mean, I text him all the time. He just doesn't answer.
Somehow got mono. God knows who he was making out with.
Somebody had given me 2 tickets to a Jet game, and I had to run into a store. Came out, they broke my window, and they left 4 more tickets.
Yeah. All right. So how about this? Instead of, let me move this. Like that. Instead of me going each one, let's go team by team. So that way we keep it kind of grouped together and a little more organized that way.
Sure. Yeah,
That'll work? We'll just go
Well, team by team, or are we going to start at the bottom, and then we just talk about what teams we have?
Well, pick a team, and we'll follow with that team.
Yeah, we'll just pick a team, and then we'll just
the team that's not Kansas City.
All right, so we'll save Kansas City for the end because I don't think any of us knows how that one's going to play out.
Yeah.
So, all right. I think Alex is going to be jumping on here to join us here in a few minutes to talk about his Chargers.
Excellent.
So try and save that one for a little bit. So with that, let's start out with the Las Vegas Raiders. So big things for the Raiders, right? They added our boy, I think, fan favorite, and Yannick Ngakoue.
You said it this year.
I've been
We've
practicing
come so far.
all off season. I've been practicing. So yeah, official fan of the or pro athlete of the Bean Apple, Yannick Ngakoue. He doesn't know it, but he is due to he spent too much time on the show. We've talked about him for not playing on any of our teams. We've talked about him more than any other player, I think. So yeah, they also added Casey Haywood. They added Kenyon Drake, which is a nice piece, but not a lot of excitement there. They lost Trent Brown, Rodney Hudson, Tyrell Williams, and LaMarcus Joyner. So all nice key pieces that were on that team are now gone. They drafted, I'm going to say this, and if any Raiders fans are watching, I don't think you might be upset, but you can't argue this. They drafted horribly, and they got extremely lucky. Like, taking Alex Leatherwood in the first round and having Trayvon Moehrig fall to them in the second by no means should have happened. There's no reason he should have been there for them. They got beyond lucky, taking a second round pick in the first and having a first round pick sitting for them in the second. Extremely lucky. And from what I've read, he's not looking all that great in camp so far. I haven't seen an update in a little while, but early indications were he was kind of getting bulldozed around a little bit. So if there's any Raiders fans that watch this, the 6 or 7 that probably are on the internet, let us know any updates on Alex Leatherwood and how excited you are to see your second first round pick in action. So one of the big things when I was doing some research on the Raiders is they have $16 million tied up in dead cap money this year from a lot of the moves that they made. So you look at that team in general, and there's nothing outside of like Jacobs, and we'll see what Ruggs turns into, but outside of Jacobs, there's really nothing established there that's like good players, right? I mean, Carr is questionable. Their wide receiving core is questionable. The offensive line and defense is questionable. Like a lot of stuff on that team is like, man, I don't know. So as I was looking through it, like I think I was probably a little generous, and we could talk all three of ours and then give our predictions, but I feel like I was a little generous probably on what I have their final record being. But we'll see when we get through it all. I want to see what you guys have to say. So go ahead, John, take it away.
So you talked about some of their signings. Yes. They have the potential to have a really, really good offense, I think. Darren Waller. I mean, the guy is like a Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce. I mean, he had over 100 catches last year. You get Josh Jacobs back. I didn't understand the Kenyon Drake signing at all. I didn't quite understand that. But I guess you can never have too many running backs. But they did have Jalen Richard back there too, I believe, didn't they? But anyways, potentially scary offense. Richie Incognito is coming back for his 66th year. So a rather questionable offensive line. Who's going to rush the quarterback on that team? Is it going to be Ngakoue? They did just re-sign. What did Ngakoue have? 7-8 sacks last year. They just signed Gerald McCoy, who didn't even play last year. But he's always a consistent 5, 6, 7, 8 sack guy. But is he going to have the same push and stuff as before? I actually like the Alex Leatherwood pick. I'm a Bama fan, of course.
A Bama boy, yeah.
Of course, I love the Josh Jacobs. I mean, name him Henry Ruggs. You know, what I mean, there's all of them there.
Yeah,
it's basically Alabama.
Bama West.
and sometimes that doesn't work out so good. But they did get Ngakoue. They got Trayvon Moehrig, which we all were very high on him.
Yes.
During the draft, we really were. I looked at the depth chart earlier, and he's slated to start. I don't know how accurate that is, but I guess we'll see. I just don't. I'm curious. That stadium filled with fans, how much of a difference will it make this year? Will that help them with a win or two with the noise, with the Raider Nation coming alive again? I don't know. If I was a Raiders fan, though, and I probably won't give too much away, I probably wouldn't be too excited about this coming football season, except the fact that maybe you can go to their games.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, I mean, so is that going to happen? Is Raider Nation going to go to Vegas, or are the people sitting in the stands, guys there for the weekend in Vegas, going to catch a game, not a Raiders fan, just a football fan, want to see a new stadium, want to get something in. They lost their shirt already in the casino, but they're going to go see a game, right? So I do wonder how much of their fan base is going to carry over, because they really don't know, right? We don't know that yet.
Right.
There's nothing saying that Vegas is full of Raider fans. But like you said, I mean, they, the thing for me last year, when you look at their schedule and their scores, every game except one was over. I mean, so they were high scoring games They lost a lot of them. I mean, they were 8-8, so they lost half of them. But
Yeah.
there was, except for one game, which I think was like 16-6, everything was in the 60s. I mean, it was big scoring on both sides. So now it's going to be, all right, what happens this year? Are they going to be able to stop anybody with some of these guys? And are they going to be able to score more points? Are they going to be able to score 7 touchdowns to win some games? So that's what it's going to, I think, boil down to. But yeah, you want to go with your numbers there?
Yeah. So for me, and like I said, I feel like I'm generous, and I should actually admit my excuse me. I should admit my wrongdoing there, and I did forget Darren Waller there. He is an absolute superstar, and probably the only legit weapon that they could count on the offense. Like I said, Ruggs is fast, but we have yet to see him like really turn it into the Tyreek Hill that they were. I think everybody was projecting him to be. Haven't seen that yet. So, yeah. So Waller, absolute beast. So Raiders Nation, don't come burn my house down. You do get a little bit of love at tight end position, but that's about it for me. Like I said, generous. I'm saying 4-13, and that's probably low. But I looked up and down that schedule, and it might even be 3. Might be 3-14. Like the wins are going to be hard to come by. Tough schedule. But what do you got? See how far off I am.
So I didn't see him quite that low. I think they're going to play the division tough like always. I mean, they beat Kansas City once last year and probably should have beat them a second time last year.
Yeah.
So they play very tough in the division. Again, I don't think they're going to be a great team, but I get them. I was teetering between 6 and 7. And the more I look at their schedule, I think I'm going to go with 6-11 is what I'm going to go with.
Okay, we'll see if Jim splits the difference here.
So actually, no, I am not. So I was actually at 7-10, and I just made a change and I went the other way. I'm going 8-9.
8-9.
I'm going 8-9. So we're gonna see now. I know Joel thinks I'm talking crazy as
You
usual.
are talking crazy.
But I had 7-10 down, and I looked again and I said, in one of the games, sorry, Alex, I think they upset the Chargers the last week of the year.
Oh,
So it's so funny you say that, Jim, because that's where I went. I took that as a win to a loss because I think Phillip Rivers will be back by then after his high school coaching is done.
back in San Diego or back in
Really?
Yes,
Wow.
I think Phillip Rivers will be back, but we'll see. But
oh Lord! All right. Well, speaking of we'll see. Let's see what Alex has to say about this.
Oh, there he is.
Hey.
What's up,
You didn't
man?
just
fan.
did you just hear that last comment?
Unfortunately, yeah. Unfortunately. Tried to tone it
man.
down, but it didn't work.
Oh, okay.
I love it. All right. So, if you guys watched the draft show, then you are familiar with Alex, huge Chargers fan. He came on for the show, gave his reactions. He follows his team and Adam Schefter, I think, closer than Adam's wife does. So he's got the scoop on everything that's going on, but very specific to the Chargers. So let's get into the Chargers. Tell me or tell us what your favorite moves were from the offseason and what you see happening, what you've seen happening, and what you see playing out, I should say.
Favorite move has to be firing Anthony Lynn. And I hate to say that because I was so hopeful for him a couple years ago. I think he's a great guy. I think he really does have a place somewhere in the NFL. He's not ready to be a head coach. When he started his career with the Chargers, he'd go for it on 4th and 1 with the game on the line. That last season, he was playing to save his job. He wasn't playing to win. The Chiefs game week 2 last year with Herbert's first start, we had a chance to win, but 4th and 1, fourth quarter, you decided to punt the ball and give Pat Mahomes another chance at it instead of going for it. And you can't win like that. And I think that's toxic to have around the building, especially with a young rookie like Herbert. He gets used to something like that, and it kills your drive. Worst signing I think that we've got is Jared Cook. I hate that we lost Hunter Henry, even though he's only available about half the time. I think that him half the time is better than Cook with 2 full seasons worth. I'm not a fan of Jared Cook.
Look at John up there. John's just
But
John's a huge Cook fan.
I'm
so.
a Cook fan. I can't help it. I'm a Cook
he has
fan.
his moments in fantasy, I'll tell you. But overall, I'm not a fan of him. Hopefully he does something good this year. I don't know. Herbert, he likes his tight ends, so we'll see.
He does.
Overall record, though, I mean, look at the schedule. Got 10 wins easily. You know, anytime you're playing the Raiders and the Broncos twice a year and you're playing the Texans, that's a massive leg up in the NFL.
Okay. So what have you seen through the preseason so far? Anything that's stood out? Players that have really stood out, or especially for like fantasy purposes or anything like that? Anybody who's really tearing it up?
You know, Herbert's the obvious choice. I think Austin Eckler coming back healthy. You know, he was great in fantasy 2 years ago whenever he was healthy. I expect more of the same, especially with our improved offensive line and got that rookie on there who I'm hearing nothing but great things about from camp. So I'm pretty excited for Eckler.
Okay. Well, I mean, you can't go if he's healthy. I mean, he is. I would definitely say a top 10 running back with his ability to catch and basically just burn downfield. So
he's Melvin Gordon without the greed and the drama off the field. So
that's pretty accurate.
I was never a Melvin Gordon fan, so I can say that.
All right. Well, you can stick around. Tell us how accurate and how off we are as we break down the Chargers. So I'll roll, like you said, Jared Cook, big addition. The other one that stood out to me as a big addition for them was Corey Linsley coming in, anchoring that center position down along that line. A lot of experience, especially the team he came from with Aaron Rodgers. That's going to be, I think, a really big thing for Justin Herbert to have in front of him, the guy that was snapping to that Aaron Rodgers guy up there. It's nice to have that in front of you. So huge for me. On the other side, losses. I mean, you lost some nice players with Melvin Ingram, with Casey Hayward, with Hunter Henry, with Mike Pouncey as well. Pouncey, I know, has been injured a lot, but still a really good talent. The Hunter Henry thing, again, also injured a lot, but when he's on the field, he's a pretty strong weapon. So you lost some good pieces kind of all over the team, not just one side or the other, but just a kind of a balance: offense, defense, defensive line, offensive line, a lot of things like that. So the draft, though, the first two picks with Slater and Asante Samuel Jr. slipping to you guys, that's I think going to make up a lot. That offensive line looks good. Adding a corner with that pedigree, family pedigree, and talent level's huge. So for me, the Chargers improved their offensive line with Linsley and with Slater. Helps out a lot. And John, like you said, when we were watching that draft, Slater came out. He looked like a giant amongst children walking through that. So just crazy. Questions is obviously rookie seasons. Teams adjust to quarterbacks in their sophomore season. They figure out what they could do, what they can't do. You're playing in a tough division. Are they going to adjust to Herbert, and is he going to have a sophomore slump, or is he going to continue to rise? That's a big thing that I'm kind of curious to see how it plays out. And then those lost players all across the team, are any of those holes going to cause an issue and allow another team to exploit? So that's what I'm seeing, and that's my preview of what it is. So I'll give you my record after Jim goes. So go ahead, John.
So, I look at the Chargers, and I think they're a couple years away. And I've been looking at a lot of schedules, man. And I'll tell you what, I don't think anybody has a harder first 7 games than the Chargers do. I mean, it is like, in fact, I'm pulling it up right now just to look at it again. So you got Washington, tough D. Dallas, you don't know, but they can put up points. You got Kansas City. You got Vegas, a division game. Then you go Cleveland, Baltimore, bye week, and then New England. I mean, that's a tough start. I mean, it really is. It's just a tough start. My question's about the Chargers as I look at them, and I love Herbert. What are you going to get from Eckler in the running game? After him, you don't have much. Tight end, I actually like your tight end. So I love Jared Cook, always have. I don't know why. Just have and I guess question marks with Slater. I mean, he is going to be a rookie. Chances are he's going to start. You know, I mean, you just don't know what you're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
And the secondary is rather young, minus of course Harris, and it looks like Asante Samuel will probably be, what starting off with the nickel maybe, or even starting. Who knows? And of course Bosa, you got Bosa there, but. You said at least 10 games. You sound convincing like I do about my Patriots when everybody kind of shakes their head. I think they're good, but quite honestly, new coach, new scheme. I don't know if I agree with 10, but we'll talk that after. I think they're going to be good, and I think they're going to be in a lot of games because weren't they in a lot of games last year, like within 3 points?
Games.
Yeah, 1 point games.
Mm-hmm.
And but boy, that schedule, man, they're not getting like any love when it comes to the scheduling this year. They're really not. So that would be one of my biggest fears. And even after that, you got Kansas City again. Actually, your second half it doesn't look bad, but you still got Minnesota and Pittsburgh. You know what I mean? So you got some. I mean, and who knows what Cincinnati's going to be like.
And the G-Man. I don't know if you saw that.
Look, man, I'm not even gonna, Alex. I won't even waste our time talking about the Giants.
Win for the Giants. That's right.
The team that fights and Galladay's already hurt. So we'll save that for the last couple of weeks. But I'll say I still think they're a couple of years away.
Yeah. So I mean, I think the concern is there's a big drop off after Herbert too, right? So Herbert was kind of a hard luck guy last year. Kind of hard luck for the backup for the starter. That ended up getting Herbert into the position. But then there was so many games that they probably should have won. Blew 1 point, 2 point games, really close games, a lot of them, but a lot of losses. They finished strong, but it took a while to get to the, what they lose, 45 nothing to the Pats or something, right? Yeah. And then after that, I think they won 4 or 5 in a row last year. So I think the key is going to be Herbert being healthy. But I looked at the schedule too, and I think to myself, they go 3 out of the first 4, only losing to KC. So I think they go 3 out of the first 4. Then there's some other games in there. I think they drop back and forth, and I think they do improve overall from last year. But I'll tell you what my number is after Joe goes.
Okay. So I like a lot of what you said. I also didn't mention bring it like Alex, like you said, bring it in Staley. I like that coach a lot. Like, I think Saleh is a better pick, but he's right there with talent level and motivational level, and the way he leads is very similar to the way Robert Saleh coaches. So I think that's an excellent move to bring in. I think with a young team, that motivation and that positive energy that he brings is going to go a long way to developing that team. So that is a big key. And yes, he is a rookie coach, but he's been playing in McVay's system. He's been successful. He knows what a winning team looks like. He knows how a winning team plays, and he knows how to coach a hell of a defense, because that Rams defense has been dominant for the last couple of years. So he knows what he's doing. So you're going to like this, but I gave a lot of the tough games to the Chargers. So I have them at 11-6. I don't know if that's going to be enough for a playoff spot, but it's going to be close.
John almost choked. I saw it. he almost choked on it.
I don't have them at 11-6.
I kind of got that.
Kind of got that. I mean, I just don't. I see him at 8-9.
Ooh, that's a drop off.
See it at 8-9. I just think those first 4 games coming out of the gate is going to be super, super tough. Really.
So I think
not first 4. The first 7 games is going to be tough.
1, 2, 3. Well, I at least the first 6.
I know. Yeah, go ahead. Say what you want about New England. Say what you want. I can't wait to get to them the last week.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick doesn't lose to rookie quarterbacks.
Not a rookie.
Herbert's not a rookie anymore.
That's
so
right.
I chalk that up as a loss.
Can't say that. Right, you can't say that anymore.
Didn't they beat him like 41-0 or something last
45,
year?
maybe, yeah.
Is that a home game for the Chargers or
home game?
It
for
is
the Chargers.
home game for the Chargers.
My buddy, who's a big Patriots fan, and I are looking at go to it. So
nice.
Good.
Okay.
Good
I'm
deal.
gonna say
What do
8
you
and
got?
9 though.
So I have them better than John, but not as high as you, Joe.
Okay.
Right in the middle there. So, like I said, I think 3 out of the first 4. I think they lose to Cleveland, lose the Ravens, beat New England, beat Philly, and really it's a lot of hope too because I haven't beaten Washington, Dallas, and Philly. Right?
Because that's
So,
what you want. Yeah,
yeah, well, but it's possible. It's definitely possible. I mean,
of course it is.
all three of
Anything's
those
possible.
teams have some question marks. So I have them going. They got Houston later in the year too, which I think is a walk. They have Cincinnati. I got them at 9 and 8.
Okay.
2 games better than last year.
So we get 8, 9, at least 10, and 11. So we're all right there within 3 games. I mean, it's not that far of a spread. I think they're going to be better in 2 years, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
I truly do. I think once Herbert gets in that 3rd year. So I thinking about Justin Herbert, I wonder how much of that was he was thrusted in so fast. He never kind of realized, like, holy shit, I'm starting in the NFL. You know what I mean? Which is a
Maybe.
plus because you never had time to worry about it.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, he's a great quarterback. I mean, what a stud coming out that wasn't supposed to start. So I just think they'll be much better in 2 years than they are this year. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think either way, they either add a big wide receiver in free agency this year, or they draft one next year coming out. Because if they give, they've got a good line now. If they just start giving Herbert some legit scary weapons, good God, with his arm and his abilities, you start putting some weapons around him, kind of like Cincy's doing with Burrow. They're doing theirs backwards. You guys are doing offensive line first and then going to address. They're going the other way and hoping he stays healthy. Huge risk, but yeah, I think there's a lot there to like. So, but yeah, I think they're going to be on the verge or in playoff conversations going down the stretch there. We'll see if they make that wild card or not.
Hopefully, we can all agree that they're the second best team in the AFC West.
Whoa. We'll
Not
see.
to jump ahead, but
We'll see.
not to jump ahead, but
Yeah.
you know,
We don't do spoiler.
Those
spoiler
4 games
alerts
against
here.
the Raiders and the Broncos, I just don't see, unless we just show up completely incompetent like we did against the Patriots last year. I don't see how we lose those games. I don't see those teams getting any better than they were last year. And in the Raiders' case, I definitely think they got worse. So,
Yeah,
but I'm biased, so
you are.
I definitely can agree top 3 in the division.
that helps.
Yeah. Hey.
Nice. All right, cool. All right, well, Alex, thank you for thanks for coming on, and
Anytime,
we'll
fellas,
finish
anytime.
rounding
Absolutely.
this out.
Thank you.
Stay on the edge of your seat and wait to see how this one plays out.
Sounds great.
All right,
Yeah.
later, bud.
Y'all have a good one.
You too. Thanks, bro.
All right, so that was the Chargers.
Yes.
And again, thank you, Alex, for jumping on and talking some football
Absolutely.
with us. All right, so now we're saving the Chiefs for last because nobody knows how that one's going to play out. So let's go with the Broncos. All right, so big additions. Obviously, Teddy Bridgewater. Drew Lock is terrible. So massive upgrade right there. I also like Kyle Fuller coming over. Nice little cornerback there. Nothing great, but still a nice, solid corner. Bolster that defense a little bit more that John already loved going into last season. And they only lost A.J. Boye and Jawan James were the 2 biggest names that I saw. And Boye out, Kyle Fuller in, kind of tit for tat. So their draft crushed it with Patrick Surtain in the first round and then having Javonte Williams sitting there for them to pair up with Melvin Gordon. Very, very nice running game there. Give Teddy a lot of cushion there and safety nets to keep him out of trouble. And the wide receiving core is really good with Hamler, with Jerry Jeudy, really nice pieces, and Noah Fant there as well. Nice big tight end who was showing some really big flashes. So that offense, I think, is going to be good. I'm kind of personally leaning more towards viewpoint going into last year, this year. I'm getting on board with what you were saying last year. I didn't because of Drew Lock. I like Teddy Bridgewater more, but he's not that great. So, what does Teddy Bridgewater give them what they need to stay relevant in that division and to make a push for a wild card, possibly? And what do the players that they drafted at the top, what are they going to do? Like Surtain looks amazing. Is he going to go in there and just control that defense. He has that leadership capability. And then Javonte Williams, really, really good running back. Him and Melvin Gordon are going to plow through some defenses. So it's going to be really fun to watch these rookies. And we talked about it in our show. This rookie class was stacked with talent. And these are two of the bigger names that came out of the draft. So that was my keys for additions, drafts, losses, and my concerns and thoughts on the team.
So, yes, I was high on him last year because I thought Drew Lock was going to be something other than what he did last year. But honestly, Kyle Fuller from the Bears, I mean, to me, that's a great sign. That's a great defensive backfield. It really is. Mm-hmm. And now you got Von Miller back. So him and Chubb, man, I'll tell you what, that's going to be scary. Shelby Harris is a big dude kind of on the D-line as well. Cortland Sutton's back this year too. Melvin Gordon. I know Alex was saying he wasn't a Gordon fan, but you know how I love my Badger running back, so I'm gonna jump behind him. And I'm curious to see, and I'm with you. There's no way Drew Lock's going to be the starter. It can't be. It has to be Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah. So. I think they already announced he's going to be the starter.
Did they? Yeah. I mean, that was just a matter of time.
No, Drew Lock
is going to be the starter. Already announced it.
Really?
Look it up.
I guess they want to lose. I need to adjust my.
That's how I made my picks with him being a starter.
Wait a minute. So Drew Lock was already named the starter? Hold on. Because I'm going to have to change my picks too. I mean, now granted, the guy's only been in for 2 years.
I'll look it up. You keep giving me your.
Yeah. So Drew Lock's only been in 2 years. His numbers aren't as gross as it would look, but they are gross. Little concerned about their wide receiver depth. I know Cortland Sutton's back. You got Jerry Jeudy. But I think this is going to be a team where they're going to run the ball, and that defense is stout. Like you said, they drafted Surtain. They only get better. I mean, they signed Fuller and drafted Surtain. They got two great and they paid Justin Simmons, I want to say. They rewarded him with a pretty big contract too. And he's out of Boston College. I just wanted to throw that out there. But so I'm not going to throw out my wins yet until if Drew Lock's the quarterback, I'll say 3-14.
I don't see anything that's showing he's locked in. It looks like it's still an open competition from all the articles I'm seeing.
All right. So I'm going to go with Teddy. My picks are going to be based on Teddy.
That's what mine are off of.
Yeah.
And 2 days ago, there's an article, Drew Lock named among quarterback trade options for Wentless Colts.
Yeah. Yes.
So,
yes.
Yeah, I don't think he's locked into that.
Lock's not locked in. I saw something like a week ago, and I thought, wow, okay. But anyway,
he's a lock, but I think it's for second string.
He's a lock. That's just his.
He's a lock for
family name.
Yeah.
Exactly. So again, I think they were 5-11 last year. Some improvements. I mean, defense especially. They got the best defense in that division, right? I mean, you look at the 4 teams there. But is that defense going to equate to more wins? Maybe 1 or 2, but I don't think they're going to keep up offensively to win games. So I think it'll be a lot of low-scoring games, tight games that they end up on the wrong side of. I have been improving a little bit, but God, I'll let you give your numbers.
Yeah, can you imagine? So this would be completely flipped on its head if they would have drafted Justin Fields, without a doubt. If Justin Fields was the starting quarterback,
well, what if they got Aaron Rodgers? They were talking about that too.
Yeah, if they got Aaron Rodgers, forget this is
right.
You're talking them and the Chiefs. But if they would have drafted Fields instead of rolling their dice with Bridgewater as a stopgap, I think they made a huge mistake. But I think a lot of teams made a big mistake.
So did another team.
So did the Giants,
who traded that pick, I think.
Yeah, and so did the Patriots for not trading up for it.
Whoa! They tried. They tried. I heard they tried.
The Giants were on the phone. Who's this? Oh, Chicago. Okay.
Yeah.
Who's this? New England?
Yeah. Hang on, Bill. I'm driving through a tunnel. Yeah. Chicago called on the other side of the tunnel.
Yeah.
They offered me. Anyway, all right. So Broncos, I have them improving, but only to 7 wins. So I have them at 7-10.
So, looking at their schedule, and honestly, Teddy Bridgewater's never thrown over 15 touchdowns, and that was last year. Quite alarming when you start thinking about it, because he looked really good in Minnesota. He just never had the stats to prove it.
Yeah,
So,
or the health.
Or the health, yes. So, to me, you start looking at their top, 6 games. Jimmy, you're not going to like this, but they play both New York teams, Jacksonville, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Vegas. They have the potential to start 4-2. Now, do I think they're going to? Maybe. Honestly, I'm looking at 8-9 wins. And I think I'm going to go, and Alex is probably just going to want to hate me. What did I say? I can't even remember now. I didn't write it down. I said 9 wins, right?
I think you said 8.
8, right? For the
you
Chargers,
said 8.
right?
Jim said 9. I said 11. Alex said 10.
So I'm going to go 9 with Denver. I'm going to go 9 with Denver because I had them second. So yeah. So Alex is probably he'd probably roundhouse me right now if I was standing there.
I guess we can't all agree that they are the second best team.
We can't. So I'm going Denver second because of that D. I think they're going to work to Teddy's strengths, and that's a run game. They're going to use ball control. They got a good D. I think I said this about San Francisco. The defense is going to put them in very favorable scoring positions to get them to the point where they don't have to do a whole lot to score. Now, whether or not Teddy can get them in there, that's to be seen. But I'm going to say 9-8. Finishing second.
Wow.
So we got a first tie.
You too, huh?
And it's not with you, John.
Wow.
What?
So,
Alex.
yeah. So, I looked at it too, and I thought to myself, I saw those first couple of games in there, and no, I don't think they beat the Giants week 1. Of course I don't. I mean, they're at the Giants. They're at the Giants. They're going to travel out here. Come on, I don't.
Yeah, you're right. They got to face Daniel Jones. I mean, that's frightening.
When they face the Jets in Denver,
and the fighting judges.
That's
fighting
right.
judges.
That's right.
Yeah, that team's a mess right now.
So I have them obviously in last place in the division, and I went 7-10 only because I gave them the last win of the year against KC because KC sits all the starters because they have it locked up.
Good call. I did that too.
Really?
Just, yes.
Wow,
that was my 9th win.
That's how I got them to 7.
That was my 9th win. Yeah.
So Joe and I got them at 7-10.
All right.
You got them at 9,
and you said we wouldn't agree. Shame.
I'm
on you.
surprised.
Shame on you.
You two are becoming best friends.
I think so. Do you want to go do karate in the garage?
Yes.
All right. So last but not least,
certainly not least,
the Kansas City Chiefs. They, I got to keep it away from the Indian tribes. It's the Guardians and now the Kansas City Chiefs. So they added John, your boy, Joe Thuney, added Jerick McKinnon quietly. If you guys remember a couple years ago, him in Minnesota, he was awesome, McKinnon. And then he went to San Francisco, could not stay healthy for the life of him.
No.
Thought that was a great signing at the time, but injury stacked on top of injury. So could be really nice, especially if Clyde Edwards-Helaire can't get going. He started hot that first game and then never really did anything after that. So could be a huge play there. And then, of course, that big trade for Orlando Brown with the Ravens, just revamping that offensive line. They did lose Eric Fisher. They also lost Damian Williams, who was a really nice backup running back there. So we'll see what McKinnon does. That could really hurt them if McKinnon gets injury history continues. That could be really bad if you're relying on Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who never really put it together his rookie season and exploded the way everybody thought he was going to. So they could be without a running game. And John, like you have been concerned about, how does that offensive line come together? If you have a running game that's weak and you have an offensive line that's still trying to figure out how to gel and flow together, what does that mean for this team? Their draft, obviously late. A couple that I liked was Nick Bolton, linebacker out of Missouri. Nice player on the defense to add, and just a shot in the dark there. But Cornell Powell, wide receiver from Clemson, got used to catching balls from some Trevor Lawrence kid. So, not too bad of an experience. He gets to step into who? Patrick Mahomes. Talk about one going from the best college quarterback to the best NFL quarterback. This poor guy, right? It is a crowded offensive scheme that he's gonna get into, but potential to maybe later in the year kind of carve out a role for himself later on as he gets to the offense. So again, the things that stood out to me: the offensive line. Does it gel? Does it protect Mahomes? Does the defense actually step up this year and lock some stuff down? They play a lot off of Mahomes and the mistakes that other teams make, getting up big, and then they could sit back and kind of relax. But can they step up and just kind of shut things down from the get-go? And will there be a running game? I don't know if there's going to be a running game, which then makes it a one-dimensional offense that might not be able to protect, and this whole thing could just blow up really, really bad and really, really quickly. So that's my concerns and thoughts. John, take it away.
So I kind of won't talk about what you did, but so their D-line, 3 of the 4 guys had like over 6 sacks last year, and I think they got I signed a free agent from Seattle, I want to say. What's his name? Jaron Reed, I believe. He came over from Seattle. So, I mean, not a lot of tackles, but a tough D-line. And Kansas City makes teams drop back a lot because normally the teams are playing from behind. So kind of like the Patriots back in the day where they were scoring a lot of points, the defense not scored, but had a lot of sacks because, I mean, the quarterbacks are dropping back 40 times, 50 times. So it's gonna work out like that. I like their secondary linebackers. Yes, they drafted Bolton. Is he going to start? I don't know. So you brought up a point about their offense being stacked. I agree to a point. You got Mahomes, you got Hill, you got Kelsey. Who's their number 2 receiver? Is it Hardman? Is he going to step up? Yeah. Is Powell going to be the guy? Is Pringle, who hasn't had a lot of chances to really step into that role because they've always had Sammy Watkins there before, and he's gone now. So, honestly, who's that number 3 receiver? Who's the guy that is going to step up when maybe the chances are Kelsey's having a bad game, which is never the case. But I mean, the guy's been in the league. Everyone forgets. I mean, this is Travis Kelce's 8th year, and he takes a lot of hits. He's their first down binky, so just a little. And I'm not saying their offense isn't going to click. I know they are. But, man, if God forbid somebody goes down, who's stepping up? Because there's not a lot of depth, a lot of strong depth to me. Joe, like you pointed out, their O-line totally revamped. Who knows how that's going to be? Orlando Brown played a little bit of left tackle before, but, I mean, who knows? And they brought in Tooney from New England, paid him a lot. And, I mean, the whole offensive line's revamped. So, they're still, of course, probably the kings of the East of the AFC, maybe, but it's kind of their throne to. It's kind of up to someone else to dethrone them because they've been unstoppable the last 2-3 years. So,
yeah, no doubt. So I think you guys covered basically everything I was going to talk about. Yeah, the O-line, how's it going to gel, and new line, and who is the receiver? Is it Hardman? I know Hardman wants to prove that they can trust him and wants the fans to be behind him, and he wants to step into that role and take some of the pressure off of Hill. I do think they take a couple of steps back. I think obviously they win the division. I'd like it to be close. I'd like to see him lose some more games and not run away with it, but I don't really think that's going to happen. I think they come down a little bit. I'll go into. I looked at the schedule and I kind of said, who can beat them here? Who on this list is going to beat them? Has a chance of beating them? And there's a few. Yeah. So not a lot.
Yep.
There's a few, and then there's the one I mentioned earlier about Denver winning the last game of the year. And I think that's one win there where they're kind of sitting down because they have it locked up. But go ahead, Joe.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of attacked the schedule the same way. Is instead of going through one by one and saying, who could win this one, who could win that one, it was a pretty quick, win. There are a couple teams in there, though, that have the capacity outside of their immediate division to beat them. The Ravens, the Steelers, a couple that come to mind real quick. But overall, Patrick Mahomes is too good. He's another level. I mean, I don't know if you guys have watched any of the highlights from him from training camp already, where he's making no-look throws on the money, like just insane, tight coverage, no-look throws. It's like he's on. It's him and the rest of the world on different tiers. It's insane how good he is. If the offensive line gives him anything, that team's going to be perfectly fine. I have them at 13-2, and that's not including your end of the season thing.
13 and what?
13-2. Or why do I have 13 down?
15?
15, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 15-2. Sorry, 2 losses for them.
So maybe I'm looking at the schedule a little different. So they start, they're playing almost, 7 playoff teams. They get Cleveland, Baltimore. I think the Chargers will give them a little bit of a hard time. You got Buffalo in there. You got Washington's D. You get Tennessee. I won't even say the Giants, but you get Green Bay, you get Dallas, who can put up some points. You got Pittsburgh. There's a potential, and man, I see more like, so throw in the last game of the year. I'm going to say 13-4. Maybe potential 12-5. They're playing some tough teams at the beginning when that O-line's learning to play together. Cleveland, they get a pass rush from hell. Baltimore does. Then you play at home against Buffalo, of course, so you kind of get the home game. But then you go to a rowdy Washington, man, and I'll tell you what, that D is stout. Tennessee got the running game. The Giants could be scary if everybody's healthy and Danny Dimes is ticking. They got the potential. Jim, I had to throw you a bone, man. I had to throw you a bone, even though I really don't.
Somebody clapping?
Even though I don't mean it.
Danny Dimes is going to beat
Danny
Dimes.
Trust me, he won't be. But then you play in Green Bay at Kansas City. So what I see, what the schedule makers did here, they're on the road at Buffalo, actually on the road at Tennessee, but like Pittsburgh, they're home. Yeah, so most of their tough games are at home, and I guess they deserve that. So I'll say 13-4 with the potential to go 12-5. I don't think they're going to be. I keep hearing on talk radios that they're going undefeated. The last team that did that was 72, and that was 12 games or 13 games? Oh, no, 16, right?
It's not happening.
16 total, right? Back in 72?
16 total, yeah.
So now they're playing 17 regular season and a potential of, another 3 games after that. So you're not winning 20 games and not losing. So, people crazy talk with that.
No, not that schedule for them is tough.
It's brutal. It's brutal.
The 2 losses that I think are going to happen is the Bills and the Packers. That's the 2 that I see knocking them out. I think they could handle Tennessee. I think they could handle the Steelers. I think they can handle the Ravens. But that Bills team, they played them pretty tough in the playoffs. The defense got better. And Aaron Rodgers is going to be pissed this year.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Yeah.
Rodgers is like...
I thought last year was a statement year for Rodgers. This is going to be, you want me on your team. You need me on that team.
Dude, it's going to be like the year. It's going to be like the year Brady and Moss had for fantasy between Rodgers and Adams. I think they may surpass that because they're just going to be like, let's go get paid. But sorry,
I thought you'd like that movie reference.
I did. Who's going to do it? You, Lieutenant Weinberg?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Come on, that was great. Yes. How can you not? When you're flipping around and you see A Few Good Men has 20 minutes left, how can you not tune in? You can't. You put the remote down and you just sit and watch. There's no way around it.
You have to. That is one of the best
Right.
best scenes ever
Right.
in a movie.
Oh my God. I don't care about the first, hour 45, whatever it is. I just need that last section. That's it.
Yep.
That's the whole movie, So we got another tie here. So I
don't think
looked
it's with me.
Huh?
I don't
Has
think
to
it's
be with
me.
you. No, it has to be with you.
It's not with you. It's
Wow.
not with Joe. Not
Yeah,
with Joe.
I didn't think so.
Not with Joe. No, I don't see them. Like I said, I looked up in that lineup and I said the schedule. I said the same thing. Buffalo, Green Bay losses, I believe, the last week of the year against Denver, and at Tennessee. I think Tennessee beats them in Tennessee for the fourth loss. But like you said, I mean, there are some other big defenses there, and if that run game doesn't go anywhere, and they load up and they put pressure on Mahomes, and that O-line is struggling, yeah, it could be a totally different, Cleveland, Ravens, Chargers. I mean, then like I said, Washington, it could be a different year for KC. I mean, but then you look, I mean, they have the coaching, they know how to win, they've won, they want to get back to, go back against Brady again. They'd love that. I think they do find ways to win in those tough games, but again, it's counting on Mahomes being healthy all year and the O-line staying together and gelling. But yeah, I got him at 13-4. Tied with John.
Nice.
John, you went 13-4 or 12-5?
He was
I
teetering.
said 13-4 with a possible 12-5.
You're teetering.
Yeah, but I'm going 13-4. That's going to include the Denver game at the last of the year because I think they're going to end up.
You think they're going to just
I won't say
throw the
that,
towel in on that one? I don't think they will because I think Buffalo, at least Buffalo, is going to be. You're going to have probably Tennessee, the Steelers, maybe even the Chargers right behind them, to where they might not be able to do that. So
We'll
I think
see.
I mean they've got to have a clear 2-game lead to be able to do that. So I don't know if they're going to have that big of a gap between some of the other top teams in the AFC. So
Well, and how I look at it is if they beat Buffalo right there, there's a tiebreaker. They got to beat Buffalo, they got to beat Baltimore and Cleveland. If they can do that, unless Tennessee jumps up, the tiebreaker will be with them anyways. So
yeah.
they're playing potential 2 other division champions. You know what I mean? So
Yes. Yeah. They're going to play the top from each.
yeah.
So
They're playing
it's
the
gonna be
top from
tough.
each one. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so
you'll know.
Joe, your top 4, 1-4. What is it? KC.
Yep. Chiefs 1, Chargers 2, Broncos 3, Raiders in the cellar.
KC, Denver, Chargers,
Wow.
and the Raiders.
The best thing the Raiders ever did was have Chris Berman say the Raiders.
The Raiders.
That's right. Plus, I'm the only one with Denver. So Joe has Denver third, John second. I have him last. KC, Chargers, Vegas, Denver. All right, we'll see.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Well, that'll wrap this one. So we'll be back Monday. We'll. What do you guys want to do? Head north or south?
You know what?
NFC North, or
Let's do North because now we can kind of we can talk about the Packers and we can
we know what
talk,
they're doing.
Yeah, and
Okay.
And the Cowboys are up right now 3-0. So it's looking like some Mason Rudolph, some Garrett Gilbert, Najee Harris has a couple runs. Dante Johnson. It's of course it's a scrimmage game, but it looks like Mason Rudolph already fumbled and lost one. So
What a surprise!
that a boy. But
Yep.
Cool.
still cool to see football on. It's this is the first week until the beginning of February till we get to keep talking about football and
Hell yeah.
just a glorious time. Glorious
Love it.
time.
Okay. All right. So with that, we'll be back then on Monday to talk NFC North, and that's going to be a fun division. Like I said, Aaron Rodgers is going to be pissed. Bears got your boy Justin Fields. What are the Vikings? how many games are the Lions going to win? I mean, so much stuff to talk about. All right. So until then, please have a great, safe weekend. Before we go, there are 2 spots left in the league. If you guys want to get in on it, let me know, let John know, let Jim know, let somebody know. As long as you're an active person on the show, which Alex is already in. Otherwise, please let us know. We'll fill it up and we'll do the draft. And until then, for Jim, for John, I'm Joe, and we'll see you guys on Monday. And as John says,
Yep.
peace.